Hello, horror fans. It's me, Cass,
Kylee.
and today we have a special guest on. So we have on Justin Warren. How are you?
Hey, great. How are y'all doing?
We're doing
Good.
fantastic. So we're super excited because Justin is Kylie's cousin, but
Yes.
Justin has also done a lot of really cool things in the industry and worked on a lot of really amazing movies as a digital technician. And
He's got
we are
great
really
taste
just
in
going to get in
horror. He's got great taste in
he
horror.
really does have
He
great
spreads
taste
it and
in
he
horror.
spreads it to the kids. He spreads it to the kids.
I do.
Yeah, he does. So
He does.
Kylie couldn't have teed that up better. But so we're definitely going to get into talking about it. So we are going to go ahead and hit the music. So let's go ahead and do that now.
Welcome to the Horrorcraft Podcast.
And we are back. So if you didn't hear the intro, we are back with Justin Warren, who is Kylie's cousin. He's done a lot in the industry, but we're going to kind of just have some fun because Justin is in a lot of horror movies that sound like very Cass and Kylie coded. So without further ado, what's your favorite scary movie?
That's a loaded question, but if I had to just pick one, I'd say Hellraiser.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been a
Behind
while
me
since
here,
I've
guys.
watched Hellraiser.
I have all of the Hellraiser action figures up there. Every single one of them.
Oh my gosh.
And a Freddy pinball machine. Got a lot of stuff.
Oh my god.
I'm a huge hardcore Hellraiser fan.
And you have the puppets, the one puppet from, oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of it.
Oh, you talking about Puppet Master?
No, you had the puppet when you were flipping it on the other side. You had the one puppet down below.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of what movie that's from.
Oh, you're talking about him.
Yeah.
Right. We just call that Slappy from Goosebumps, but
he looks like a Slappy, but he looks like that one. Oh my gosh.
He's actually just an authentic antique ventriloquist doll. So
nice.
he
it
looks
could be
like
haunted. We don't know.
He looks like the one doll from Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
He
also kind of looks like that one from that Anthony Hopkins movie.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah, he does.
So
he does.
I love that though. Yeah, that's very so Hellraiser.
I love that movie. Hellraiser 1 and 2, because that's kind of like a double feature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they both go so well together, you kind of have to watch them back to back. But that movie and all of Clive Barker's imagery in there, it's just so profound to me. I watched it when I was way too young to watch it, and it scared the shit out of me. I remember watching them in reverse order. So I watched part 2 first and then part 1. And there's always something about not understanding something that makes it scarier. Cause I didn't, if I had watched the first one first, I would have understood why people were skinny, had no skin and why they were, bursting out of mattresses and stuff. Like I didn't know what the hell was going on. And it just scared me so bad. But the imagery was just so effective. And I love that whole, just, how it's so much darker than like Halloween or Friday the 13th. and it's not a slasher, it's the people are the monsters in Hellraiser, not Cenobites. The Cenobites are just doing their job. And but I love the mythology, I love the monsters, I love the imagery, I love just how rich and dense that world is. It's so much more to it than a Halloween or a Hellraiser. I mean, than a Halloween or a Friday the 13th, which I also love. I love those movies. I mean,
Right.
but Hellraiser to me is so much more dense.
It's different.
It is different. It's something that people have never seen before.
Yeah, I feel like Hellraiser and like the 80s, like that's like that was like the 80s like Terrifier. I'm not a huge Terrifier fan.
Yeah.
But like it's deeply disturbing. Like I remember watching it as a kid. Like my dad would watch it a lot. My dad was a horror fan, and I was just deeply disturbed and gagged. And it's honestly taken me into adulthood before I would watch it again. And I watched it probably a couple Halloweens ago, and I'm like, what the hell? This is but it's so good. And like you're right, the Cenobites, they're just doing their job. Like they're not really the bad guys, it's the bad people. I mean, especially in the first one,
it was Uncle Frank, Julia.
Yeah, it's such a good example of like a female villain, because truly, like, it's the stepmom that's behind all of it, and that's using and tooling all of this to kind of try to get everything to her advantage. Clive Barker, I think, does such a good job at like saying something without really saying something, and a lot of his stories are that these are like these benevolent kind of things that could either be good or bad, and they're just, it's the way you use them. Because like one of my favorite is Nightbreed, and we obviously Nightbreed's insane, and like that movie got chopped because one executive looked at a little bit
the Cabal cut. I've seen the director's cut that's on Blu-ray, but I haven't seen the Cabal cut. That's like a gold. That's like a really hard to find cut of the movie.
Yeah,
it's been around a little bit, like in like private showings and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard about it, but I remember seeing the original cut that they talk about, like, because when I watched it, it was like a VHS tape of like what was shown on TV. That my friend showed me at the time, and I just remember like him peeling his face off, and I was hiding behind the couch like, what the heck are you showing me? This is insane. But then I remember shortly, and for a long time I thought it was a fever dream, because I'm like, there is no way that like they became the villains and then like they became the heroes, and then yeah, like all of these things just happen. And somehow, like, I remember watching One Tree Hill, and like Chad Michael Murray's like father was in it, and I'm just like so confused.
What is he doing in One
What
Tree
is he
Hill?
doing here? And I was just, but I mean, it's such a good story about how like you go in expecting that these people are going to be monsters because they look like monsters. But what happens when the monsters are actually like not the people who look like monsters? They look like your everyday person. So
that's what makes they're so interesting.
yes, I love those kind of films that like have a
they're the best.
conversation about about who really is the monster and versus who really is. So I love Hellraiser. And I think like Hellraiser is a good example of, even in its worst entry, there's something redeemable. Like I haven't seen like a super, I actually take that back. There's been like one that I've seen that was like super insane, but a lot of Hellraisers too, I feel like after the first one got really messed with. Like
especially Bloodline. I love that movie, but what it could have been, the original script from Peter Atkins, would have been amazing to see. but unfortunately we'll never see that. There's work prints out there, but they're nowhere close to, they never did film the whole script, so you'll
Yeah.
never see the whole script.
Yeah.
But some super fans have done some like kind of like recreations of those scenes that never got filmed with like CG or whatever, and those are cool. But the work print that's on the 4K Arrow Blu-ray is pretty cool. You know, there's a lot of like interesting deleted stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
pretty cool.
Yeah, they talk a lot about it in the documentaries, the In Search of Darkness ones, especially
Yeah.
the ones in the 90s. They
Mhm.
talk a lot about like the different um studio, like the messing with the different parts of it and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of like Doug Bradley, props to him, man, because like he just takes stuff on the story about him going to the other set in the
Yeah.
Hellraiser gear to deliver a monkey to the other
Mhm.
movie that Clive Barker was working on at the time. I would probably like just be like, "What do you mean Hellraiser's here on set?" Like, I think that that's so funny, but you could tell that he just has like a sense of humor when it
Mhm.
comes to good old Hellraiser. So
Wasn't he
obviously,
was
like,
at Scarefest when we were there, wasn't he?
Oh, he and Ashley Lawrence do all kinds of conventions.
yeah, they
Yeah.
they do tons. I don't know if he was there when we were there, but
Might be
he
thinking of
might have
somebody
been. I don't
else.
know.
He's a
I
nice guy.
don't.
I've gotten his autograph a few times.
I was about to say I don't think he was there because honestly, that was probably one that I would have went up to and been like, "Thank you so much, sir. We are not worthy. Sorry."
I don't know.
Totally
I
are good.
probably would have been terrified. I'm thinking about the guy who was in the Hills Have Eyes
Michael
remake.
Berryman.
Michael
Not
Berryman, yeah.
not my
Oh
no,
no,
not
not
Michael
Michael.
not Michael Berryman. Oh, I literally just recorded a review of the remake today and was looking in the IMDb, but he was there and I just think he is absolutely terrifying. Hold on.
Mhm.
What is his name? Not Ted
So is
Levine. Michael Bailey
Kylee.
Smith. Yeah, Michael Bailey Smith.
Okay, Michael Bailey Smith. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he was because he was also in an episode of Charmed because we like bumped into him. He like we
Yeah.
were remember we were walking and we almost and I was like, I'm so sorry that we almost like ran into you. Sorry. Here's a sticker.
Here's a
Like
sticker.
sorry
Here's a
that we
sticker.
sorry we almost injured you.
Sorry.
Here's a sticker of our podcast. We love
Listen,
you.
as long as we didn't injure Angry Grandma.
Or Michael Berryman because he's a
Or Michael
national
Berryman.
treasure.
He
Yeah,
is.
he
Yeah,
is.
He's a very
yeah,
sweet man.
yeah,
Very sweet man.
yeah. I met him twice, and we met him at Scarefest, and he's Michael Berryman's a treasure. So,
Yeah, really nice
so
guy.
obviously you really like Hellraiser. Out of the bigger franchises,
Uh-huh.
who is your favorite horror icon? Is it Hellraiser or is it Pinhead?
I mean, probably Pinhead, but if I couldn't pick Pinhead, man, I mean, I always thought that Pinhead like deserved to be like a spot on the horror Mount Rushmore, you know, like alongside like Michael and Freddy and Jason and Chucky and Leatherface, you know, but you could only have 4 on Mount Rushmore and he never got up there. I mean, like, you know, his movies don't have the box office draw that that like the others do, but I would still say probably Pinhead. But if I had to pick a slasher, from my generation, I'd probably go Jason. I think that I love Michael Myers, don't get me wrong, and I've even worked on one of the Halloween movies, but I think Jason has this like relatable story with you know, being a mongoloid boy that was picked on and drowned and is ashamed of his face, has this kind of like Phantom of the Opera like quality to him. And so I think Jason is really cool. I I was obsessed with the Friday the 13th when I was a kid, and I've watched them all 50 times each. And I've taken my kid Caro to see them on the big screen at all the revival showings that they do, and
Aw.
Caro loves Friday the 13th and loves Hellraiser though a lot too. Like Caro's really cool because they've been writing horror novels lately, and the
Ooh.
one that they've been writing lately is very Clive Barker like.
That
I
is so
can't wait
cool.
until they publish it. They've been getting a lot of positive attention at school for it, from the school librarian and the ELA English and Language Arts teacher. They're like, you need to self-publish this. So they're not writing it for school. They're writing it for just their own.
Yeah.
And this is one of 2 stories that they've been working on. And I can't wait to see where it goes because they're
They
already.
is also going to be in a Sweeney Todd play.
That's right.
I'm super excited to see pictures of that.
I'm super excited for that. When Kylee we did Sweetie Todd and she watched it and she got into it, it made my fan girl heart just like go like, yes, my best friend loved this because it was such a big part.
I watched it a year ago and I'm like, why have I never seen this? Like, what? Where was I? What was I doing? Like, I wasn't. Yeah, and I'm like, it's got Johnny Depp, and I don't know.
I'll give the Tim Burton one a bad knocking, but I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think he made it so much darker than the stage play usually goes, but like it worked because of that.
Yeah.
Like and I think they cut out like a few musical numbers, like especially the opening musical number. But
yeah,
I mean, Caro's play book for the script is like 400 pages long. And they have like only a couple more months to like practice and get this thing down. And it's kind of like they're practicing constantly and brutally. Like I hope we make it in time. Because there's so much to it. It's an enormous play. They're building like trapdoor set where the people fall
oh my
down.
gosh,
Like it's gonna be awesome.
Super cool. That is super cool.
Yeah, it's. I just feel like with Sweeney Todd, I feel like it was one of those things where it came out during a period of time where people were having like Tim Burton fatigue, and
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah, and I feel like people don't
Especially they were having Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter fatigue.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, them again. But like nowadays, like people are like, hey, wait a minute, that was really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you got Sacha Baron Cohen in it, you know. Professor Snape is the villain. Like he is, he is absolutely delightful in that movie. And
he was always amazing.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was a delight in every movie he was in. He was a comfort, but it's just like, especially Johnny Depp, there is something about him in that movie specifically where he is a different version of himself. He is very like unfurled, like this man on the, that has pushed past the brink of madness because of all of this that's happened to him. And this is the side that he's in. And like, we did an episode on it and we talked about how like people paint him as the villain, but it's really, he's more of like the tipping scale in this really system that has been rotted to the core.
Yeah.
And people look at him that way and it's dark because everything around him is darker. Like if we would zoom out and see like that everything that's going on, like it's not because everything around him is sunshine and roses. Like here the judge is like sentencing kids to death for like stealing and like all these things, and people are like starving and there's crime rampant. So like how in a society that's so rotten, how do you fix it? You can't just be like, okay, well, let's just cart all these people. And in a time period like post-plague. Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of, with the current events, we're kind of we're kind of there now, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. Yeah, like it's
You're-
like, don't go out and do things, but if you do, wink wink, um we might understand where you're coming from just because like the world's on fire right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
Don't
it's
do
fine.
things, but like
Don't do things.
there are
But
certain
like
things I
at the
can
same
empathize with right now.
Right.
yeah.
You know what I
So,
mean?
but
So, yeah.
but I think Jason also, the thing I love about Jason is Jason isn't, the first movie isn't about Jason. It's about his
Oh, no.
mom. Yeah.
I think the whole franchise is cool because, like, even though they have, like, obviously a formula to their killings and
Yeah.
everything, like, no 2 Fridays are exactly the same, especially with the presentation of how Jason looks or if he's even there. Because there's 2 Fridays where Jason's not the killer.
Mhm.
You got the first one, and then you got the 5th one.
Yeah.
And, and he always looks different in every single one, and their, approach to how he moves and everything and whether he's a zombie or not or anything like that, and, it's always something, an evolution of the previous chapter. By the time that you get to part X, he's a freaking cyborg, you
Yeah.
know, which was awesome.
Oh, I love him going to space. Like
I
that
do
My
too.
Jason
favorite
X.
my favorite is Jason Goes to Manhattan. That's my favorite. Yeah.
I love that one.
I
Yeah,
I
freaking love
love
Jason.
that one
that
so
one's so
much.
good. You and I have so much in common, Kylie. Like, I love that movie. A lot of people don't love that movie because it's mostly on a boat. But by the time he gets to Manhattan,
It
it's
makes it
awesome.
great. Yeah, but
The,
it makes it
but
great.
it's
Yeah,
terrifying. Like Jason on a boat is terrifying. Like
it is.
what? Like
Yeah.
you are having somebody who literally drowned to death is like this, like you said, mangaloid version of himself,
Mm-hmm.
and you put him on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but the space one too. I don't know, maybe if it's just because that's my favorite. I love Jason Goes to Manhattan. That's probably like my second favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite has to be Jason X, just because I think it's got some, because like the cryo kill with like
Yeah,
the,
that's great.
yeah, that's so great. But like the newer one too, the 2009, I really dug that one. I really
Yeah.
thought that one was a
You did a
cool
good job on
one.
that one.
Yeah, I just thought they did a good job at like kind of keeping the formula, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe just like
Evolving it.
tweaking with it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really good. So I'm
Yeah. It was
hoping
cool
that
that,
like,
like, they did, tweak the formula a little bit to where he's got he's got like underground tunnels and he's setting
mhm.
traps, and that was cool. And the whole underground tunnel thing was like kind of a way of like explaining but not explaining how he gets from point A to point B so fast.
Yeah.
It kind of,
Without, it's like, in the other ones we're like, okay, he's just teleporting. What's going on?
mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved it though. And you know what's crazy to me? One of my favorite games, like I have a Nintendo Switch, and one of the first games I got was the Friday the 13th game. And I
Oh, nice.
loved playing that. And I hate
Yeah,
that they like took it off server and
I
stuff like
know.
that because I thought it was kind of cool. Like
It was
I
cool.
thought it was a very interesting like concept. Like
Mhm.
Kylie probably didn't even realize this, but we were at Johnny and Friends at one point, and I was playing Friday the 13th, running around as Jason with my little Switch. Yeah.
No, I did it. No, I did it.
Yeah.
No, I did it.
So,
Nope.
um, what was your gateway horror movie? Like, what was the
Oh,
one that made you go like, this is something that I'm just going to be invested in for the rest of my life?
when I was a kid,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gateway? Well, I mean, I guess you could call it this because it's not a horror movie, but it's horror movies for kids. Was the first Ghostbusters,
Hell
and
yeah.
because that movie's actually got some scary parts to it, like when Dana Barrett like gets grabbed in the chair and like the
Oh,
door.
it's terrifying.
That's
Yeah.
scary as hell. Um, and even the librarian ghost at the beginning of the movie is scary. So I watched that when I was 3 years old. And that made a lasting impression on me for the rest of my life. That's still one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 5. And if I had to say an actual horror genre movie that I saw, I watched. I remember this would definitely count as a gateway thing, even though it's not. It's the first Halloween, 1 and 2,
Yeah.
because I was in 5th grade, and my best friend at the time showed me Halloween, took me to my first haunted house, and then we came back and we watched Halloween 2. And Halloween 2 was a dubbed VHS copy that he had that had been recorded over Friday the 13th Part 7. And so by the time that the credits finished rolling on Halloween 2, it got right to the climax of Part 7 when Tina's using her telekinetic powers to stop Jason. And I was just like, this has been the coolest night of my life. Like, I was like, oh my God, I've got to watch more of these. And they're like, oh, don't watch Friday the 13th. Those are bad movies. That's why we recorded it over with a good movie. And I'm like, but that looks really cool. He looks awesome. And so, I got way into the Halloweens for a long time there. I was so into Halloween that I even made my own fan supercut of I made my own proper Halloween 7, the retribution of Michael Myers, I called it, where I took the theatrical version of Halloween 6 and I took Halloween Resurrection and I chopped it up to where, and I filmed a little bit of original footage too. I still have this somewhere, where Halloween Resurrection now takes place before Halloween H2O, and it exists as a sequel to the producer's cut of Halloween 6. And I used theatrical footage of a lot of the of the opening of Halloween 6, and a lot of the stuff where he comes back to the hospital and slaughters all those doctors at the
Yep.
end. And I used the opening of Halloween Resurrection to show him going through the tunnels of the hospital, but then it cuts to the tunnels of Halloween 6 of him killing the doctors there. I cut out all the main characters. I cut out Paul Rudd and Marion Hagen and all that, to where it was just him going to kill the doctors after the events of the producer's cut of Part 6. And I even found this old movie called Fatal Frames. That was the last appearance of Donald Pleasance, and I I got some footage of Donald Pleasance in there to make it look like he was the one in the insane asylum, not Jamie Lee Curtis. And I made it to where all of this happens to where Halloween H2O is now actually the final chapter in the series, and she really did chop his head off, and she really did live. And then they all lived happily ever after the end. And I loved those movies, and I worked really hard on that thing. I still have a cut of it somewhere, but I posted it on Vimeo once, and Miramax took it down.
Dang it, man.
Yeah,
Dang it.
but I loved it. And
Miramax, why you gotta do
yeah,
that?
so Halloween was my gateway, for sure. I have like 3 Michael Myers masks right up there. I've got another one right down there. I've got
And he's got the Mortal Kombat 2 pinball machine in his house, man.
I
Mad
do.
respect.
So yeah, for a long time there, I was like diehard Halloween fan, and getting to work on Halloween Ends was a dream come true for me. I did the reshoots for them, and I got to meet Jamie Lee Curtis, and
Wow.
I got to watch Michael get thrown into that grinder at the end, and we all teared up a little. And but it was really emotional filming that whole I wouldn't call it a parade, but when they're all
Yeah.
going to the survivors of Michael, or
Yep.
going to the junkyard. That was emotional. It was just amazing being there. I was standing beside myself going, is this real life? Like, am I really here right now? Like,
That's awesome.
and
That is so awesome. I loved Halloween Ends. It gets so much hate, but
I
I
get so
think
much hate.
like Was I crazy about there not being a whole lot of Michael Myers? No, I didn't. But like that scene of the like final showdown between Laurie and Michael, and just that whole moment is just so deeply emotional. And like
It is.
she's been waiting on this moment for the past 40 years, and here he is. And like she gets him, and then when he snatches his hand up and goes around her throat, and she's like, this is it. And she just is having like the flashbacks and
Yeah.
everything. Like just the cinematography of that is just beautiful. And people just can't say that it was a horrible movie because of that scene alone. And I don't
agree.
know. A lot of people don't like the new trilogy. I liked it because it talks about a lot of stuff with trauma, and like yeah, it's about Laurie and it's about Michael, but like you get to see of the effects of what it's done to Haddonfield, especially in Halloween Kills. Like
Especially
that movie, that movie was for Haddonfield. And like the scene where they are carrying him, putting him in the meat grinder, like it's emotional. I loved it. And I will forever defend it.
I also think it's kind of weird because these are the same people that then ship Michael and Laurie being together, even though they're the ones that want that like timeline of them being brother and sister thrown out.
Right.
And the new one did throw out that timeline where they are brother and sister. And you do get something different, which is, what if we peel back who Michael is? What if we separate the mask from Michael?
Yeah.
Could anyone become a Michael? And then we see that like that question answered through Corey's here. You know what I mean? Like that
actor played Corey. Forgive me. What's his name? He's a talented actor.
Ronan Campbell.
Yeah. He's brilliant, and he did a good job in that. But I don't know if you've seen it, but the Silent Night, Deadly Night,
I haven't seen it
was so good. Oh, you got to see it, Kylie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were super excited because like Christmas horror is Kylie and I
love
both
that
are like
genre.
Christmas horror is like holiday horror should be a thing. Period. Like I mean, Easter's coming up. Critters 2 is going to be like fired up this weekend.
I watched it the other day and I'm like, this is an Easter movie.
It is. It is. And you know what's crazy, Kylie? And maybe we've talked about this, but you get the same people who did Killer Clowns, and they're the ones behind the Critter Ball, and they're incredible. Like, I love them, and just everything that they've done, because then you're talking about the same people that did all of the creatures in Ernest Scared Stupid. It made us love horror.
The brothers are incredible. I have worked adjacent to them a few times now. I've never gotten to work with them, but I worked with Grant Kramer on Willy's Wonderland, and he was the main character in Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I've worked with Jude Wacko, a producer who's good friends with the Kyotos, who's worked with them on numerous stop motion projects of theirs. And I'm like so close to working with them, but I haven't done it yet. I'm so jealous. But I love the Kyotos so much that I have like actual these critter replicas right here are made from the original movie molds. It took the artist like years to finally like get these to me. I waited 6 years for them, but I waited. I waited and I waited and I waited, and I finally got them.
I love Critters. I also think that that's one that just gets highly like overlooked.
It gets overlooked.
Yeah. I feel like it took a long time for Killer Clowns to get the love that it deserved. I think it's going to take a little bit of even more further time for Critters. Like I'm starting to see
when they make Gremlins 3, maybe that'll bring it back.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, because I think that would be really great. Like, I think it's just something that is needed because it is it is very much like a gateway horror because it's one of those.
Well, talking about gateways, then literally The Gate is a good gateway horror film.
Yeah.
And so is Gremlins, and so is Critters. I saw those when I was young.
The gate is terrifying because what do you
It is.
mean you open up a portal with tiny creatures adjacent to your house and then everything happens? Like, and it's got
Mhm,
Steven Dorff, like early Steven Dorff before
mhm.
Blade,
Yeah.
and he's, the protagonist. It's insane. Like, I remember the first time I watched it when I was probably like 17, it was at my Blockbuster, and I
Mhm.
was like, "What do you mean this is a kids movie?"
It's not.
It's not, but, like, it's, like, advertised. It's the same way I feel like I recently found out that Ted Nicolau, who did Subspecies, did this set of movies that I grew up with that were, like, kids movies, and they were ducks. They were ducks that, like, it was Alice in Wonderland and ducks, and, like,
Huh.
they wanted to get into the human world, and they hated humans, and they would, like, steep them in cups of tea and, like, drink them. And I thought it was like a fever dream, and then
Huh.
we met Ted at Scarefest, and then, like, y somebody shared it, and, like, I see his stuff on Facebook,
That's
and I'm
wild.
like, "Wait a minute."
Who knows?
I'm like, "Wait a minute, that was a real movie? I didn't just dream that up? Because for the longest time, like, I thought it was something demented that, like, I
Wow.
warped in my mind, but I just remember, like, teacups and humans being seeped into tea, and no, that was Ted Nicolau making a kids movie.
Wow.
So but isn't it funny how, like, those are ones that are marketed to kids and then it's like,
I know, right?
you watch them later and it's like nightmare fuel?
Well, I mean, a lot of those movies that are made for kids, like The Dark Crystal, that movie's scary as hell.
Oh, The Dark Crystal is terrifying.
It really is. That's a gateway movie. I mean, when those gelflings are getting their essence sucked out of their bodies and they're like turning into like little prunes, like and dying or turning into zombies, like that's really intense material for kids. Um, Who Framed Roger Rabbit when that shoe's getting dipped down into the dip?
Yeah.
That's the most evil thing I've ever seen in my life. Like I still can't watch that movie. That
That's one
movie
of
scared
Jane's favorite movies.
I
I
can't.
love
He
that is a
he'll go through
scary that
phases where he will just watch it and watch it, and it's so funny because like he'll be on his tablet and he likes to rewind and watch certain parts of movies over and over again, and it's always Jessica Rabbit, and I'm like, okay, is this your first crush, Zane? Okay, it's pretty funny. But then when it gets to that
so
part, he
it's
wants me to rewind it and start it over.
so it's called
Okay.
Magic in the Mirror, and there's
Magic
2
Mirror.
of them.
Okay.
It's a little girl's imaginary friends come to life when she goes through her great-grandmother's antique mirror a la Alice
Huh.
after seeing it glow. But, like, I just remember them, like, steeping people in tea, and it's a rated G movie in the
Really?
90s, and
Wow.
I'm just like, I'm still terrified.
I
Like,
gotta watch.
I'm still waiting to, like, accidentally get, like, steeped in tea. So thanks, Ted, for that one. Um, but, what so you watch a lot of film. What is a favorite independent horror movie of yours?
Indie horror.
Indie horror.
Um, well, I'm still a child of the 80s and 90s. So I'm, going back to like, my 80s movies. Um, and it was definitely very indie. It ended up getting 2 sequels. I love the original Basket Case. I love Frank Henenlotter.
Oh god. I love Basket Case.
I love Basket Case.
Basket Case is a wild ride.
It's insane. Um,
Yeah.
and I like the sequels too, but
Yes.
those don't really count as indies because those had probably about like $2 to $5 million each. But the original had like almost no money at all. I remember when you watch that movie, there's a scene where Dwayne is counting a bunch of cash to give to the
Yep.
motel owner, and like people are like watching it, and that's like a big plot point. That cash was actually the real budget of the movie that he's holding.
Oh my
Like that's
gosh.
all the money they had.
That's pretty
But I
cool.
love the whole. Yeah, that's right. I mean, that movie had no money at all. Shot on like I think it was 8mm film, not even 16. I think it was shot on 8. Um, and it's crazy that they've done these 4K restorations of it. The Museum of Modern Art has done an amazing 4K restoration of it. I saw it
Yeah.
playing at the Dallas Museum of Modern Art in 4K, and it looked great. And Frank Henenlotter was there in person and giving a good Q&A. But I also really love Frank Henenlotter's other movies, like Brain Damage is one of my favorite movies ever.
Oh, Brain Damage is a good one.
Brain Damage is awesome. So yeah, he might be like my favorite indie horror filmmaker of the 80s. I've always been really, partial to Phantasm.
Oh, Phantasm's a good one. I was telling Kylie to get into that because Phantasm I remember watching Phantasm for the first time and not all I remember is people talking about like the ball with the
Mhm.
spikes and not really like understanding. And then I watched it for the first time and I'm like, I was so deeply unsettled. I could not go to bed that night. Like, I was like, what do you mean this person's coming after me? Like, and it was like, it's just the tall man is
Mhm.
like is a crazy character
Mhm.
because it's just like it's just so almost random. Like you
Yeah,
never real. I mean, we kind of get further as they go into like deeper phantasms,
they
like
go.
really
Yeah, they
what's
do
going
a little
on.
bit, but
But
they
like
never
we
really
never,
explain everything. Like
yeah,
by
they
the time the
never.
fifth one's done, like you still have just as many questions as you do answers.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you're just like, what do you mean?
Right.
Like it's just and like the whole funeral home aspect of it and
Mhm.
like just everything about it. I think that's a great one too. I
Mhm.
like
I'm gonna
maybe
add
I'm
it to my
partial.
list. I got such a long list. A
You
Oh yeah,
do where
very
Kylie.
long list.
The the whole series is good. I'm a particular fan of part 1 and 4. I think 4 has a lot of heart to it. But you can't
it
just
does.
or it yeah, but
You got to
like,
watch them all in
you
like
got to watch them all in order.
yeah.
Um and the cast of those movies, especially Michael Baldwin. Michael, if you're out there, I love you, buddy. He's a good friend of mine. I've directed him twice in projects. He's awesome. He lives in Austin, Texas. Really good guy. Um,
I think Michael Baldwin's a treasure. So
he is.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that because you're on the podcast. I do like Michael Baldwin,
He's great.
especially in Phantasm. I think he doesn't get enough of respect for that. Especially just, I think the series in general, like, I think a lot of people just like don't really attach themselves to it.
Mhm.
But I also am a fan of Michael Baldwin just because, um, I mean, it's Michael Baldwin, so
Yeah, he's awesome.
why wouldn't you?
He
So
he always puts his whole soul into a performance. No matter the part. He's really, especially I think part 4. He not only starred in that movie, he also produced it. And that movie is like Michael's movie. By the time you get to part 4, Kylie, let me know.
I will.
yeah,
I will.
I think she would love. See, for me, I like a lot of full moon pictures to me.
I love
I
full
know
moon.
people don't really like people have their own opinions about full moon and trauma, but like I wasn't a huge trauma fan when I first started the podcast, but then I've had friends that have got me into trauma movies
Huh?
and
Oh,
I
I love
just think
Classic High.
oh gosh.
Yeah.
And just like so many just different ones and full moon especially like they just did so many and like I think I love full moon because like subspecies when I remember the first time I watched subspecies and it just blew my mind. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, I love it.
Oh
Yep.
God, the puppet master. Oh no.
Yeah.
Puppet.
Wait, were
Yeah,
those look like those other ones look like the voodoo dolls from Tales from the Hood?
Oh no. You've got okay. Uh Here you've got Blade, Six Shooter, Leech Woman. That's from Demonic Toys. That's Baby Oopsie.
Yep,
But
Baby Oopsie.
Jester, Tunneler, Torch, Pinhead, and then these three guys are from Retro Puppet Master. You've got
Okay.
Dr. Death, Real Sergeant, and Cyclops. Yeah.
Okay.
She's just been stuck on the Tales from the Hood.
Yeah.
I have.
Right on.
I have.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
We did an episode about Tales from the Hood, and we're both stuck on the dolls from the KK comeuppance
Oh yeah.
sequence. So what is a horror film that you feel like is an underrated gem, deserves more respect than what it's given?
Give me a second. I mean, I love a lot of bad movies.
We do too.
Same. We
Yeah.
do too.
I mean, you have an extensive collection.
I do.
I would probably never come out of your basement. Just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A horror movie that has a bad rep that I feel deserves more love. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
It could even be one that people do have eventually come around to like, or
Right.
that has a good reputation, but you feel like just doesn't get enough.
Well, I mean, I'm biased to this one, but we were talking about this a little bit earlier before we started. I love Exorcist Believer, and I worked on that movie for months, and we all worked really hard, and we felt like we were making something good, and I still think we did. And David Gordon Green is a good friend of mine, and I love that guy, and I love his whole crew. He's very loyal to the same people every single time. I've done 4 movies with David, and his producer Attila, and I mean, he even has the same sound guy that he's used for like 20 years because he's just such a good loyal friend. But Exorcist Believer, I thought, had really good characters, had really good character development. It was a character-based study film.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a straight horror film. It was an emotional journey of these characters, and I thought that Leslie Odom Jr. Did a good job, and but the girls were amazing, and they were amazing to work with. These girls were such professionals and such troopers. They had to go through the makeup process like for several hours a day, every single day. And when they came out, they were always in such a good mood to be there, so excited, and had to, writhe around and thrash and everything, and say all this like demonic shit. But they did a really good job, and we filmed that movie for a lot longer than we thought we were going to, because the material was so intense for, I'm not going to say who, but for one of the actors in the movie, that while we were filming The Exorcism, this person had kind of a nervous breakdown, and we got shut down for 6 weeks. The producers asked us to keep all of our equipment there and not touch anything. We tried to film as much as we could without this person for a while, but eventually we got to the point to where we couldn't film anymore. We had to have that person back, so we got shut down for 6 weeks. And when we came back, Jason Blum was there. And he was like, "We're so sorry this happened to you all. This is not how we want to run our company. This is something that we take very seriously. And from now on, things are going to be a little bit different. If you start feeling uncomfortable about the material we are filming, if this is affecting you, we have spiritual psychologists here now. We are going to bless the set every morning and sage it. And that is how we want to run the company from now on. And I tell you what, they still do that now. A couple of years
Wow.
later, I did the movie The Woman in the Yard, and those same people were there, and they still have, psychologists on set, and just make sure that everyone's comfortable. They run that company like they would run a family, and that's why I like Blumhouse. I know Blumhouse gets a bad rap sometimes nowadays, but I think they do a good job. I'm going to go ahead and broaden the question by saying that not only do I think that we did a good job on Exorcist Believer and that movie gets a bad rap, and I think it's a lot better than it is, but I think that can be said for almost all of Blumhouse's properties. Um, I think that, that company's been getting some hate, and I think they do a good job. And I know for a fact that the people who are involved with that company, Ryan Turek and everyone, they care. They're real fans. They're real good people, and they're doing their best, and they're making, in my opinion, good movies. Not everyone has been going to see them, but like Wolfman was pretty damn good. And I think the new Mummy. Did you see the trailer for the new Lee Cronin Mummy?
Yeah.
So listen, maybe I feel a little called out with this because I did give Blumhouse a hard time because the Wolfman I did not enjoy as much as
Okay.
just because I think it is really hard to, and I've said this
Mhm.
before,
Mhm.
but to go from The Invisible Man
Mhm.
to that, especially because on a deeper spiritual level, and I will just say this is why I like Blumhouse and I will always give them a chance. So Jason Blum, if you're listening, I'm just going to tell you this. Watching The Invisible Man, I have never felt so seen by a horror movie on a
Mhm.
deeper level. As someone who has experienced domestic violence in a
Mhm.
way that completely altered my brain chemistry,
Mhm.
just the things that she went through and the way that they so took the time to craft that story and
Mhm.
talk
They
about
did.
gaslighting in a way that never took away her power as a woman,
Mhm.
I think is just chef's kiss. I have not seen a movie since then that has completely made me go, that shows me domestic violence in a way that needs to be portrayed.
Wow.
I think it is so hard to follow it up. Now I am super excited for The Mummy, especially the way that they have approached The Mummy and
Does
the
it look
way that
wild? It looks crazy.
it
Yeah.
looks, and especially like the generational trauma aspect of
Yeah.
it, where it looks
Mhm.
like it's like family curse-esque. And
Mhm.
also too, like, I also appreciate the fact that they're trying to get kids. Like they're doing
Yeah.
preteen horror, like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
FNAF series, like
Oh,
the
yeah, my
FNAF
kids love
people
those movies.
people give FNAF such a hard time, but I will tell you, I was just at a special needs parent meeting
Mhm.
and my kid is not the only one. Like there are a bunch of kids there that love FNAF and
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
it's huge, but it's also, I think, a way for kids who normally wouldn't get into horror to get into
Yeah.
horror. And it talks about something really fucking traumatic, which is
Yeah.
like child loss and
Yeah.
how do we like deal with our brother being gone? How do we deal with the fact that our brother was killed? And like on the side of Abby, like Abby has a very shitty family. Her dad's a killer,
Yeah.
and in this latest one, we found out her brother's like not very far from the tree, and
Yeah.
so you see this person that's just trying to like deal with her life and deal with the fact that she never asked to be involved with any of this because her dad's a psychopath. But like, how do you conceptualize that when it's still your father? So
Right.
I really do appreciate what they do, but I do think Blumhouse does a good job. Listen, have I loved every movie?
No,
No,
but,
Well,
no.
and
um
I think just as horror fans, people just expect so much these days, and everybody's a critic. But nobody, a lot of these people who are, on the interwebs degrading a movie. I've never made a movie. I've never acted in a movie.
I know.
Like, these are people's blood, sweat, and tears. Like, they're away from their families. And, like, we're not going to get a banger out of every movie that comes out. Like, it's just not going to happen. And I don't know what to tell y'all. But, like, I loved Exorcist Believer because it was more so, yeah, you have, like, the supernatural and the possession, but the emotional tugging and anguish that you felt of the bond between father and daughter, and, like, he's been raising her on his own since she was a baby because the mother passed away. And, like, I'm not going to spoil it for Cass, but, like, the exorcism, the ending, like, I did not expect that, and I
I
liked
mean,
it.
everybody on the internet has already spoiled it for you, so you're fine.
Okay. Well, I was not expecting that at all. That the other little girl died and the other one lived, but I enjoyed it. The most recent thing that I tell people a lot that I love that came out of Blumhouse was The Lost Bus. That
Oh,
was a
yeah, you were telling me that.
phenomenal movie. The visuals, and, like, there's even been, like, some creepy documentaries Blumhouse has done that I've really enjoyed. Like, you're not
Well,
gonna get
and shout out, you just brought up David Gordon Green, but, like, shout out, I think Blumhouse, aren't they doing that Scaparetta
yeah,
series that David
that's
Gordon
on
Green
Prime right
did?
now. Yeah,
Yeah, that has Nicole Kidman in it, but that's been
yeah,
getting high praise, and I think that's really cool. I like how they are diversifying things
Yeah, I think
and that
they're
they
in
are
this
trying.
kind of like diversifying and reimagining themselves a little bit, you know?
and
Yeah,
Um,
people are
I
allowed to
think they
do that.
also
People are allowed to do
yeah.
that.
I
Mhm.
also think they're probably, I will give them their flowers right now. I also think they're probably the most receptive to people in our business, both
Yeah,
small and large. I feel like we've had better success with, like, Blumhouse, like, asking for certain things, and
yeah,
I
Yeah.
feel like we've just had, like, that experience with studios that are like that.
Mhm.
Like, A24 is another great one that
Mhm.
kind of turned Kylie and I around.
Yeah, I love it.
Um, but I feel like people just don't, this is a studio that makes specifically horror.
Mhm.
There are going to be a lot of horror is very subjective, and it is deeply personal, and not everyone's going to jive with it. Although I didn't really like Night Swim. I thought Night Swim was cool for, like, the visuals and,
Right.
like, everything that they, like, tried to accomplish in the stuff. But, like, I could say that with a lot of Blumhouse movies, not everyone's going to be on the level of certain ones, and even
Mhm.
the Conjuring franchise. Conjuring franchise started out strong. This latest one, I don't think was the greatest one, but I mean, that's okay.
What
It's
do y'all
still
think now that, sorry, I didn't mean to.
no, no, you go ahead.
What do you think now that, Atomic Monster and Blumhouse have been teaming up for so many movies with James Wan, and now they've got back the rights to the Saw franchise? What do you think of that?
I'm excited that they're going to be doing the Saw franchise again. I think they
Yeah.
need to. I think it's something that just needs to be done. I also think that it's good that James Wan and Lee Wynell are supposed to be going back to Dead Silence, because I always think that that was a
Oh,
really,
really?
yeah, there's, like, a rumor that they're trying to come up with a Dead Silence too,
Oh,
and
cool.
I always thought that that's something that should have a sequel, because,
Yeah, that
like, naturally, like, sets itself up for a second part, you know what I mean?
aren't
mhm.
they?
With the ending.
They're doing another Paranormal Activity. The guy that just
Yes.
directed Undertone is going to be behind that, and I'm really excited because Undertone
I
was
still haven't seen.
it was phenomenal, and I think some people really haven't been jiving with it because it's not really like in your face scares. It's all like audio. Um
Mhm.
and you hear things.
Okay.
The ending ended kind of abruptly, which was fine. I think they're maybe possibly going to do another one, but it's like a religious horror type thing. But it was freaking scary. I saw it. Me
Okay.
and Dakota went and saw it in movie theaters, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I don't know, they had like a $500,000 budget and made like 9 mil in opening weekend. Like,
amazing.
That's
Well, and
amazing.
he just I think also another thing that like Blumhouse should be applauded for is like most recently Jason Blum came out and he said that he wants to go back to the core of why they started it, and he wants to
Yeah,
give more
more
people a
small budget movies,
chance.
right?
Yeah, and he wants to do
Yeah.
more movies that are under $1 million and wants to do more original IP, and that he's committed to that, and he's
You
committed.
guys are watching this. I've got a script that could be
Uh,
done for $1 million.
Call him. Call
do
him.
it,
Call him.
do
Do
it,
it. Call him.
do it. So
Yeah, because
that
I
bleeds
think
in perfectly.
we find even just with independent horror movies just so many more original
Oh,
ideas
amazing
and
ones.
stories.
Mhm.
Like I watched Weapons. I did not like Weapons. Did not like it at all. Did not. I love Aunt Gladys, but like I think I told you about The Man with the Black Umbrella.
Mhm.
That was terrifying.
Oh,
Terrifying.
Ricky's a menace.
He is a
I
menace.
I like smaller movies. I mean, most of the time, like, I know that you and I recently watched Kylie and really liked Shelby Oaks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Loved Shelby Oaks. Oh my
That
God.
movie was
That
made
was so good.
almost no money at all, and it was
Well,
so
and
good.
like most recently, this episode's about to come out this week coming up, but like we
Mhm.
just
Hunting
did
Matthew Nichols.
Matthew Nichols with
Okay, yeah.
Markian, and that movie is incredible. Like if people let that flop and they don't get to see, I'm going to be so pissed because everything you ever want is going to be in that movie.
Mm.
And like, I love, and that, admittedly, Kylie is the found footage person. I like
I
found
am.
footage. That is something that I really enjoy. But like, that was one that I was like, holy shit, just left me on the floor. And there are smaller movies too that I feel like just do certain things better. And there are some studio movies that I think dial back on things and have a more modest budget that I think was great. Like Heel that just came out from Magnolia Films.
Mhm.
That
That
was
was
so good.
insane. That was such a good movie. And it's not your traditional horror movie. It's really just more psychological, but it was great. And like you got Stephen Graham in it. So I think it just depends on what you're doing with it. You know what I mean? Like I think independent films is kind of where you can show your genius, because if you can make a movie that really works on that level, then
Yeah,
that really shows that you can play, that's where creativity is. So
absolutely.
I
Find on independent film sets also more people who actually want to be there.
Yeah.
yes.
People who it's not just their job. It's like, people who are excited about the craft and want to get creative and be experimental again.
Yeah,
Or
and I just feel like also too, they just respect people a lot more. Like all the independent film directors that we've had a chance, like there's maybe been one or two that aren't maybe necessarily the greatest, but most of them that we've been able to work with, they're just wonderful people, and
Yeah.
they have just been so wonderful to us.
Mhm.
And like we're nobody. I mean, we are. Right? We're the Horrorcraft
Yeah,
podcast,
well,
But there are
but
just like there's bigger horror content creators, and they get to do a lot of cool stuff. It'd be great to have that, or be able to just making all kinds of money going to premieres and stuff. But I
sure.
don't know. I like being in our little cool kid
it's more
corner.
honest being in our
It's
bubble,
more.
because
It's yeah.
if we tell
Yeah.
you it's great, it's because we're not being paid to tell you it's great, or
Yeah.
we're not like they offer that we get to screen the movie, right? But
Mhm.
that's not them letting us see this movie so we can tell them it's great. Listen, the company for Dracula did not pay me for that PR, okay? I willingly just decided to roll with it and give them a whole entire press tour, okay?
Oh,
And what
nice.
would you expect from me? But that wasn't anything that they prompted me to do. They just ask our opinion. And even if it's something we don't like, we try really hard to respect the movie,
Mhm.
because like we have no idea what's going into it. But I think also too, like we this is what we do to find an identity outside of motherhood. outside
Yeah.
of like being able to have ourselves. So like it's not like we're doing this. Would it be great to do this as a job one day? Yes. Kylie's still convincing me after Undertone to try to quit any job ideas that I would have and film during the day because she doesn't want to film at night.
Well, you know what? You can just thank Undertow because that scared the shit out of me. And when you see it, you will understand why. And also, if we ever get some kind of sketchy emails of some crazy audio, we are not opening it. Just want you to know that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I
Well,
took that.
No,
No.
but
I took that. So
we need to start playing the lottery so that way we can open our production company to just fund people like make this movie, make this movie, make this movie.
yep. Like Justin here, just
Justin,
make your movie.
That would be awesome.
Justin,
God.
Stephen Cognetti, Scott Hansen, Ricky Umberger, Audrey Hepburn.
Audrey. Yep.
Yep.
We have a whole list of people that
Got a whole list.
Gavin Michael Booth.
Tim
Nice.
Shea.
Yep.
Yep.
We got a whole list of people that we would just roll with. So on that note, though, now that we're in almost an hour, we are going to talk about your amazing career. You are a wonderful, wonderful asset to a movie film set. And I want to talk about it because not a lot of people understand. So you wear a lot of different hats.
I do.
With different productions and stuff like that. But a lot of times, I know scrolling through your IMDb, you're a digital imaging technician, a colorist, and an editor, and a director in certain aspects. But can you explain some of the work that you've done on movies?
Sure. As a digital imaging technician, a DIT, as you'll see in the credits usually, I am a member of the camera department, and I work side by side with the director of photography to help craft the creative and technical look of a show. I do on-set live color correction and color grading, not just balancing looks, but actually like creatively setting looks to make the movie look like what it's going to look like in the finished product. I've done a ton of horror films at this point. And I've built a career out of it. I've had the fortunate blessing to have worked on Willy's Wonderland, Hellfest, The Woman in the Yard, The Exorcist Believer, Megan, Halloween Ends. I'm about to do another movie coming up soon. It's going to be a horror film that I do at the end of April. It's currently titled Red Wedding. I don't know if that title is going to stay because of Game of Thrones, but it's from the writer of Saw 8 through 10, making his directorial debut. And it's going to be really good. I read the script and I loved it. So I mean, I worked on Phantasm 5. I worked on the From Dusk Till Dawn TV series.
Oh my gosh. God bless you for the Dusk Till Dawn TV series. God bless you. Because people hate on that TV series, but you know what? It was a fucking banger, man. It was a fucking banger.
Obscure miniseries hates to see you coming, best friend. If there is one you know about it and you've seen it, I love you.
It had 3 seasons, okay? It had 3 seasons.
I worked on the first season, but
and God bless you because it had Wilder Valderrama in it. It had so many different people and also very hot people, by the way. Like the Gecko brothers in this. The Gecko brothers in this one, like they were pretty hot.
They were awesome. Yeah.
I mean, and Robert Rodriguez, like, come on.
He's a cool guy, and I have a fun Robert story actually. Before I was a DIT, I was a visual effects artist, and I started working at Troublemaker Studios as a visual effects artist when some short films that I was directing were winning awards in local festivals. And they were zombie comedies that I was doing. One of them was called Zombabies. And Zombabies did really well in festivals. And a post-production supervisor for Robert at the time named Jabbar Raisani, who's an amazing artist, saw Zombabies and offered me a job as a visual effects artist for Robert. And I was just waiting tables at a Cajun restaurant at the time. And this was like the most incredible job opportunity that ever come to me. And I went to Troublemaker Studios to go do a job interview. And they invited me into their daily screening room where they do all the screenings of everything that they work on. And they were playing my stuff up on the TV, on the projector. And some of it I didn't even know how they got. And they started asking
That's
me questions
incredible.
about how I made it. And I told them, and they offered me the job, and I started working there, and I worked there for over a year, and I had such an incredible education in digital filmmaking while I was there. And some of those people are still some really good friends of mine to this day. But then about at least 5 years later, maybe 10, I was the DIT on From Dusk Till Dawn. And Robert recognized me, and he was like, "Justin?" I was like, "Yeah." And I mean, the fact that he remembered me was already amazing, but he goes, "Zombabies." And I was like, "Yeah." And he remembered me, and he asked how I'd been, and we hung out, and I did the show, and it was a great time. Robert's a really cool guy too. He's very zen. He has this guitar that he always gets rigged up onto a light stand onto a cart, and he would always sit next to the DIT and play just some flamenco guitar just for me. Nobody else was there, and uh, I loved hanging out with him. He was great.
He's
Um,
exactly the person you think he is, it sounds like, because that's exactly who I would think Robert Rodriguez is just from watching all of
he's
his
very
stuff.
talented. He's very talented, and he's a good guy. Um, Loved my time at Troublemaker. Haven't been to Texas in a long time. Haven't been to Troublemaker in an even longer time. But I live in Georgia now, and um, I've had I love it here. It's the film industry is pretty busy here, and I've made a lot of new friends. Love it here in Georgia.
So
Oh,
obviously you said, go ahead.
yeah, what I do. That's what a DIT does. I'm also a colorist, so I do final color correction for a lot of films. That movie
Right.
coming up that I'll be doing, Red Wedding, I'm also going to be doing the final color for that, and that'll be a big break for me because that's my first time doing final color on a movie that's getting a wide theatrical release.
That'll
Um,
be cool because it's Josh Stolberg, right? That's
yeah,
doing the movie.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Um, and a good friend of mine is DPing it, and he got me the job. I'm really excited about that one. Um, so that's my job as a colorist. I usually host people just down here when I'm doing it. We just hook up to the projector on my DIT cart, and it's a nice place to color a movie. Um, I've directed a number of things, mostly short films and music videos. But there's this band that I do a lot of music videos for called Lucid Dementia, and they just put out a new album called Hexery that's really good. And
I'm
we're
gonna put
starting
that
to
down.
Yeah, it's really good, Hexery. We're starting to talk about possibly doing a music video for that album too. Um, and just depends on how everything goes because I kind of want them to come to Georgia for this one because I've done two in Austin now, and it's kind of hard to get out there.
Yeah.
I love directing. I have a number of short films that I've done, and I've got a couple of feature film scripts that we've been pushing for a while now. One of them is a motel-based horror thriller that's set in rural Texas called Violet that I would love to do. It's my dream project.
That sounds incredible.
It's
I'm hook, line, and sinker.
Listen, if we win the lottery tomorrow, you're our first, well, maybe
Hell
second phone
yeah.
call.
It doesn't need much money.
Yeah.
He's
we've already
he's
got
the
all our-
first. Stephen Cognetti's the second because I need another Hell House. We all need another Hell House.
Hell House is great.
Hell House is incredible.
That is my favorite.
That's your
And
jam.
I will.
Yeah. Watch that because of your recommendation, and I loved it.
Oh yeah, it is fantastic, and people hate on it and hate on the new one, and it makes me very, very angry because I don't know, like it was more so for the fans, and like there's so much that Steven and Joe want to do with that franchise, and they just haven't been able to because of just budgeting and stuff like that, and it's crappy.
Yeah.
So you talked about that being like your dream film. If you could pick like a dream job to have a credit on, what would it be? I mean, other than you obviously have gotten like a ton of really great.
Right. I've gotten some. I mean, like I've actually had the pleasure of getting to say that I've had that happen a couple times now.
Yeah.
And I mean, like some of these jobs that I've gotten have specifically been because I'm such a big fan. And horror fans are really loyal people, and they're really awesome. And filmmakers are too, for that matter. Like, when I got to do the reshoots of Halloween Ends, it was simply because, the previous DITs knew the DIT of Halloween and Halloween Kills was like, we got to get Justin in on this. He's such a big fan, and this is literally the last filming of this trilogy that's going to happen, and we've got to get him to do it. So, because I was such a big fan, I got to be that, and I got to meet Jamie Lee, and I got to meet James Jude Courtney, and Nick Castle was there too, actually. It was just an amazing experience, and then because I decided to show up like an Uber fan. It was for every single day of filming, I had a different Halloween shirt on. And they're like, how many Halloween shirts do you have? And I was like, trust me, I got a lot. And so, that rekindled my relationship with David Gordon Green, who I had done a couple indie movies with in Texas prior to. And so I was like, I heard you're doing Exorcist. I want to do that. And how you got to introduce me to your DP, because I've got to do this. I would knock this out of the park for you, I swear. And that email that I sent got me the job. There have been a few times where I've just been like, guys, this is a dream project. I've got to do this. Like, when it sounds silly, but like Willy's Wonderland was a dream project of mine. Like, I had to get on that.
It would be a dream project for me because it's adult FNAF with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
When I heard that it was coming to Atlanta, I mean, I was like, okay, this is a low budget project. They might not even have a DIT on this movie. Sometimes a low budget project doesn't even have one. But I was like, guys, look, I'll cut you a deal. Like, I stalked people. I was like, like this, I was like, you've got to get me in on this. And finally I got the contact of the director of photography of that movie, Dave Newbert. And I sent him this really emotional email talking about how badly I wanted to do it. And he called me within 10 minutes of sending that email.
Aww.
And he offered me the job. And so that was some of the most fun I've ever had working on a movie. It was Willy's Wonderland. I loved that movie. Kevin Lewis is a great director. David Newbert was a great DP, and Nicolas Cage was my second movie to do with Nick. And he is a dream every single time. That guy is so cool.
I feel like he gets so much hate that is undeserved, because
he doesn't deserve it at all.
Yeah, because he just like, especially with how he's done like all these horror movies the last like 8 years, like Lost
Mandy, and The Color Out of Space. Yeah.
Freaking Long Legs, man. Long Legs
was amazing.
Long Legs was, I remember when you went to go see it and you told me about it, and then I got it, and then I had to have an emotional weighted stuffed animal for it. But
I was pregnant with Raiden and Dakota.
You
like,
were
had been
pregnant, and
seeing the trailer, and like, I want to go see this. Like, okay, I'm locked, loaded. You know, Osgood Perkins, he's phenomenal.
Oh, he's
But
amazing. He hasn't had a dud yet.
no, I love the monkey. Love the monkey.
Yeah,
Love
it was
that
great.
movie.
The monkey
But
was incredible. I haven't seen Keeper yet.
I haven't seen Keeper yet.
I haven't
But
seen it, but I've heard it's great.
yeah, Longlegs was just I don't even know. It was just fantastic, and he was so
and it was just
menacing.
like
Came out of nowhere.
This is rolling around in your brain.
Yeah,
Like, bro. like, and just the way that was, but I think it also is just like it really is one of those movies that does take you by surprise, because I remember talking to you about it, and like, admittedly, the main character, she has a complicated relationship with her mom, and she loves her mom, but it's very complicated. And as somebody who has a mom who has a long-term illness and also has issues with hoarding,
wait, didn't we do?
definitely
We did a
we
Mother's Day
did a Mother's Day
with
Kate.
Kate, my little sister. About
We did.
wow.
We did.
We did.
We talked about motherhood and murder with that.
Motherhood and murder.
And motherhood and murder, that's what we called it. So, but it was great. But yeah, I feel like, Nick Cage, you keep doing, and Renfield, like, you as Dracula was diabolical, man. That was diabolical. Like,
he was awesome.
He was great in that. He was just perfect. And the fact that, obviously very early on, he did Vampire's Kiss. And that was kind of like, I love that. So, last and final question, because we're going to link everything. And obviously, we're going to have you come back, because you're going to have to, like, come back and talk about Puppet Master, probably credits. You're probably going to have to come back a couple times. Yeah, you're permanently part of the Horrorcraft cult. Here's your sticker. But last and final question, because it's an oddball question, and I'm only asking this because it's in your incredible, amazing room in there.
Oh, okay.
Final thoughts. How do you feel about the new Mortal Kombat movies?
Okay. I thought that the opening with Sub-Zero and Scorpion in the new one was the 2020 movie was really good.
Yeah.
But that was about where I stopped loving it, because I thought it had great cinematography, but I didn't like this Cole character that came out of nowhere. And because I guess he was like supposed to be the audience POV character, but we don't need that. Like, I thought that, just make it Liu Kang, or make it like how they're doing with part 2, Johnny Cage. I will say that the second one that's coming out soon looks badass.
Oh, I'm super. Listen, I feel like the first one, it does get a lot of hate. I feel like like you said, the beginning and the story with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and getting into the deep mythos of that. The people that they picked for Scorpion and Sub-Zero are incredible. The characters that they picked for, like, Jax, and for Liu Kang,
I thought that all of the Mortal Kombat characters that were in the movie were freaking awesome. But
they were incredible. But it was kind of a weird choice for Cole. But I will say, I feel like I didn't notice it as much, because I was more excited about, like, the
Fair
things,
enough.
especially the last one. But
on Blu-ray, and I was actually planning on watching it this week anyways. My son Edward is a huge Mortal Kombat fan, and I have the arcade machine right there. It's got part 1, 2, and Ultimate 3 on it, and I've taught this kid every single special move and fatality and combo. Like, and he's really
you're doing the Lord's work with parenting. You are.
He is. He is.
No, I agree with you. So follow-up question to that. A lot of people had a problem with Carl Urban being Johnny Cage. How do you feel about that?
I think he looks like he's gonna be fun.
I,
I
I feel like a lot
When
of
is
people
Carl
wanted
Urban bad? He is like a chameleon. That guy can play anything. And
Carl
he's got
Urban. It has been in Lord of the Rings,
yeah,
Star Trek. He's been
yeah.
in Marvel.
He was Judge
Like
Dredd.
he was Judge Dredd.
He was
Like
in
he's in The
Doom.
Boys.
Yeah,
He's
he was
in
in The Boys.
Doom. Like let's be honest. Like in Doom, anything that was bad with Doom was made up for by
By
Carl
him.
Urban.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
it was incredible. Like I could say that about any Carl Urban movie. Like I am so excited. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but
I
I know
think
people are saying incredible things about that pirate movie that he came out with
oh,
Priyanka
yeah?
Chopra on Prime. It's supposed
Okay.
to be like really brutal. It's supposed to be like she's an ex-pirate, he comes after her and
Nice.
like she betrayed him, and it's supposed to be like really like Priyanka Chopra is like kicking other pirates' ass all over the island and stuff.
I like
That's awesome.
But
pirates. I like pirates.
I like pirates too, but I feel like people like go back and watch the original Mortal Kombat. Like the 90s Mortal Kombats aren't the greatest. We still love them though. Like we
I mean,
loved
okay, I'm gonna stick my little opinion in here. I think Annihilation is a disaster, but the original's pretty damn
Oh,
good.
the original is incredible. Annihilation, like let's be honest, the only reason Kylie, don't even look at me when I say this, okay? Don't.
Brian Thompson.
Don't. Brian Thompson. The only reason I really liked Mortal Kombat Annihilation was because of Brian Thompson, and I think it's
Justin,
because like
just hold the phone. Justin, have you seen Fright Night 2?
I've only seen Fright Night 1. I'm sorry.
okay, but Justin,
Look-
you've seen Mortal Kombat 2, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we just talked about Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Listen, no, I'm not
So
finished. Cassandra, I'm not finished. You like a man in Fright Night 2 that is a vampire who eats cockroaches and
I didn't
crickets.
like his character specifically. I liked growing up. I had an odd crush on Brian Thompson. Like I just thought he was he was in a lot of movies I liked. And listen, Blame It on Kindred the Embrace. That was a vampire soap opera that I probably should not have watched at the age I did. But I was like, vampire man with muscles, and yeah. But
Messaging
Brian Thompson
Brewster
and
right now.
But
Just kidding.
I feel like his character in that is the reason I ended up liking him, is because he's so over the top in that movie. Like
Oh, for
he
sure.
really fucking is, but he's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
The thing that got me in Annihilation was Sindel.
Oh,
Like
yeah. Too bad you will die.
die. Yeah, I could not. But I'm excited. I don't know. Like the first one is great. The
That's a great
first Mortal
movie.
Kombat is incredible.
Mhm.
But like so then I feel like we could say, okay, the first Mortal Kombat and this new one, probably not the great, especially because I think a lot of it too was like they started doing this during COVID and they probably had
I
to
think that
shutter
had
a
a
lot.
big part of it. I think that probably had a big
Yeah.
I just, the thing that I'm okay with the Cole character, but the thing that like bummed me out about the first Mortal Kombat movie was that there was no tournament.
Yeah, I'm more excited, especially just I feel like whatever I wanted from the first one
I'm gonna
is
get with the
going
second one
I'm
now.
gonna get
Yeah.
with the second one because
You
just the
almost have to
fact
think of like the first Mortal Kombat movie as almost like a prequel to the movie you really want to see.
yeah, I feel like also too, it's just and the person they have to play Shao Kahn now is like a big beefy bodybuilder guy
Right.
that looks like he could annihilate somebody in person anyways. So I think he's like a perfect choice.
Yeah.
But like they did just pick a lot of really cool people, and I think Carl Urban makes sense for Johnny Cage. Like
Oh,
a lot of
totally.
people were like, "Oh, the Miz should have been him," or just a bunch of different people, Ortiz. Like I don't know. There was just a bunch of different people, and I was like, we don't have to have a wrestler or somebody. I mean, yeah, but that maybe makes sense, but like you need somebody that maybe has some star power. And I mean, like, Carl Urban, like, obviously, he looks like he's about to crush it, so I'm excited for it, but,
Yeah, this movie.
I'm excited because you're the first person that's, like, a big Mortal Kombat fan that I could talk to about it, so
Nice.
I
Yeah,
figured that that was, like, a good segue to get off of it, so, we appreciate you coming on. Everybody
Absolutely.
go watch every single movie in Justin's IMDb. I'm telling you this right now. I'm gonna go.
Yep.
This is a homework assignment. Do it.
thank you.
But we're so excited to have you on, and thank you. This was kind of like a nice, fun family reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And spring is when you get together with your family, you have some fun time. So this is like big horror family reunion.
Oh yeah.
So
Exactly.
we had fun with it, and we'll definitely have Justin back on in the future.
No,
So but until next time, it's me, Cass Ann,
Kylee.
and we are the Horrorcraft Podcast, and we're saying bye and stay spooky. Bye.
Bye.